So we are the Kalama Education Academy, and we're actually a program under the umbrella of INPEACE, which is the Institute for Native Pacific Education and Culture. And so our Kalama branch is our Kalama program is made up of a few different facets where we service. Our bigger objective is creating homegrown teachers in and from within the 96792 area. And we do this by either finding teachers who have been born and raised in the community, or connecting with teachers who have committed to staying within the Waianae community to teach and to empower our keiki. And so we have a few members of our Kalama team on today, and we wanted to just give a little bit of opportunity for our team to share and introduce themselves really quickly. Some of you folks may already be Kalama participants, and some of you folks may be new, or maybe you haven't heard about the new changes with our Kalama program. And so really briefly, we have three different branches. Education Academy is broken up into three different branches. Our first branch is our Hua Kaiaulu branch, and that is the team that supports college navigation. So community members who want to become teachers go through that program, and our coaches help to support and guide those individuals into the field of education within the Waianae complex, Waianae Nānā complex. Our Kumu Kaiaulu branch is our educator development branch, and all of you are current recipients of our Kumu Kaiaulu services, which includes coaching, career navigation, workshops, and collegial mentorship. And so Mark and I are a part of the Kumu Kaiaulu team, and we develop professional development. We provide one-on-one coaching and mentorship, and we provide other support services to educators who are already in classrooms but need continued support in order to remain highly qualified and remain innovative and extra awesome and continue to be supported in your folks' work. And then we also have our third branch, which is our Ulu Kaiaulu branch, and that is our systems navigation branch. And that Ulu Kaiaulu branch is responsible for helping to advocate and partner and network and collaborate with institutions to support our teachers and to support our college participants. And so that's the real quick gist of the three different branches of Kalama, but I'm gonna let some of our Kalama team introduce themselves before Mark and I give you folks a little bit of mo'olelo about who we are and a little bit about our background. So Fran, you wanna go first?
Aloha mai kākou, o Francine Medeiros ko'u inoa. I am the program director of Kalama Education Academy, and what an exciting day for this program. And I just want to say a big mahalo to Capella and Mark for working extremely hard, to the Office of Hawaiian Education for giving us the opportunity to create, and for them to take all of their talent and to be able to present to you all today. And I guess mahalo all of you for taking the time out of your busy days. We realize as Kumu, your days are fast and furious, and you know that you are investing your time to a reclassification, and just want you guys to know that we are here for you in all capacities, and I hope you enjoy everything that this awesome team will be sharing with you. So mahalo.
Mahalo, Fran. Yeah, Anake.
I can talk. It's okay.
Aloha kākou. I'm Anake. I'm Donnie Campbell, and I'm the Education Systems Specialist. And thank all of you teachers. You folks are so important. And we really do, as Francine said, we really appreciate you. Mahalo. Mahalo to you.
Mahalo nui, Anake. Anake is the leader of our Ulu Kaiaulu branch, and she sits in all the BOE and DOE meetings and committee meetings and all of those different extra fun meetings for us so that we can stay up to date and continue to find opportunities to provide resources and support to you folks. So mahalo nui to Anake for her work. Kamakani?
Aloha, Kamakani Palakiko Ko'uinoa. Aloha, my name is Kamakani. I am an educational pathway coach here at Kalama. I'm a part of the Hua Kaiolu branch, which is our college attainment branch. And like Capella said, we help support students and, any EAs, PPTs, anyone who wants to pursue a degree in education. And we provide so many different services, but I just want to mahalo you guys for letting me join in on this PD, and looking forward to getting to meet all of you. Aloha.
Mahalo nui, Kamakani. Mahalo to our Kalama team. We have some other team members who are not on right now, but if they join us later, we can have them introduce themselves. Even though Mark and I are the ones who run the Kumu Kaiolu branch, and we've developed this course together along with Ohe's sponsorship. Mahalo, Fran, for bringing that up. We do acknowledge that the entire Kalama team has invested so much time in supporting and helping and working with us in order to be able to provide this course. It's a big deal for us. This is our first time offering a PDE3 course for our team. And so we're really excited, and we're super grateful that you folks have entrusted us with guiding you folks through professional development and hopefully through some reclassification this school year. Okay, aloha nui kākou. We'll do a quick ho'olauna o wau o Kapela Eli he kupa no ai anai o Ahu. Noho wau ma ka mokupuni o Hawaii I kia manawa. Mamua he kumu kaya o lelo wau ma ka papa malao ai ka papa ekolu. Kia manawa he kumu ho'omohala ike wau no ka po e kumu ma wai anai. My name is Capella. I was born and raised in Waianae, raised in the educational system of Waianae. So I know what it's like to be a kid growing up in the public school system of Waianae. And I loved it. I enjoyed it, but it's not always that's not always the story and the experience for everyone who comes out of Waianae. Luckily, I was blessed to have been taught and nurtured by teachers like you, teachers who are committed not just to the profession but committed to the community that they served in. And those teachers were really, really monumental in helping me as a kupa o Waianae to appreciate who I was and to appreciate the community that I came from. Because when I looked elsewhere, the story that I got was that Waianae was good for nothing and that we would never achieve anything and that we wouldn't go anywhere. And so I'm super grateful, and I'm a product of teachers who believe in Waianae's power, Waianae's capacity, Waianae's mana, Waianae's ike. And so because of that gift that was given to me as a student of Waianae, my passion has always been to serve Waianae as an educator. I don't live on Oahu anymore. My ohana has moved to Hawaii Island. We have Kuleana Ohana and Kuleana to Aina Kupuna here. But luckily, Kalama has provided me a continuous opportunity to serve the community that I love. And so I'm super grateful that I'm able to use my background in Hawaiian studies and Hawaiian language. I was licensed in Hawaiian medium education, which means that everything that was taught and everything that in a Hawaiian medium classroom or a Hawaiian medium school, every Hawaiian language is the language of business. And so everyone on campus speaks Hawaiian. And it's a little bit different from Hawaiian immersion. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to share the ike and the knowledge that's been passed to me by my kumu, and turn around and hopefully pass it on to you folks so that you folks can continue to ho'omahuahua and continue to multiply those seeds of knowledge for our keiki there in Waianae. So mahalo nui ya oko. I'm gonna let Mark introduce himself.
Aloha mai kākou, everybody. My name is Mark. I was born and raised on Oahu. I am not from Waianae. I am from Kaneohe, but I have been working in Waianae for the past 2 years. I've been working with Capella to create this program, this course, and it has been a really, really enlightening experience. I got my bachelor's degree in elementary education from the University of Portland. I got a second bachelor's degree in elementary education from Chaminade. I'm a product of before my bachelor's degrees, I was a product of the school system in Hawaii. I'm not a public school kid. I am a private school kid. I went to school at the Academy of the Pacific up in Alewa Heights. But I graduated, I went to Portland, got my degree, came back home, got a second degree, and then I got my teaching license and my master's degree from Chaminade University and started getting into STEM education. I worked with the Honolulu Community Action Program, working in the Makalapa community, in the Makalapa housing to provide STEM education with the kids there, providing them with fun, innovative STEM activities, something different from PlayStation and Nintendo Wii. And I was presented with an opportunity to work with IMPEACE, work with the Waianae community, developing STEM content, using Waianae Mo'olelo as a base to build upon, and I've enjoyed every minute, and I'm happy to be here.
Mahalo, Mark. And so we want to give you folks a little bit of time to share. We're going to have a couple of these collaboration board activities throughout Today is really just going to be an orientation, get you guys kind of ramped up so that you guys understand what the expectations are for the course, get you guys set up with the Google Classroom, and make sure that we're all on the same page so that next week when we start instruction, next week is the actual instruction will begin, we are like ready to run. This course is 10 weeks, but it's going to be really fast because it's only 2 hours per week, and Mark and I have a lot for you folks. And so we want to make sure that we set ourselves up and ho'okahua, make sure our foundation is set and good today so that the rest of the next couple of weeks, we can just jam and get you guys through the learning and get you folks through the portfolio development.
Okay, so when designing the PDE3, when designing Nānā Ike Kumu, we had several objectives in mind. Objective number one for us was to connect Waianae educators with resources from the community that they could use to help improve their classroom instruction, whether it be talking to experts from the community in general, to talk to kupuna and get mo'olelo from them, or to go to local resources, whether that's the farms in the area or other learning centers, but to find that, because there are a lot of resources within the community itself that can help enhance the learning. And when you're able to see the learning right in the area that you live, it makes the learning more meaningful. It makes it more authentic. Like the students are able to connect the learning to where they live. They're able to connect the learning to their own lives. And that was, a really big part of the big driving force behind, well, one of the big driving forces behind what we created with this PDE3 course. I'm sorry, my computer is slow. So the second part of the PDE3 objectives that we were looking at is again looking at place-based mo'olelo and seeing how we could use the place-based mo'olelo in the instruction. Now, for those of you who don't know, this Nānā Ike Kumu was a community course before it became a PDE3 course. And I don't think I'm giving away any spoilers, but one of the mo'olelo that we looked at in the original course was the mo'olelo of Maui, lassoing the sun with Manaya Kalani, which the story takes place right in Lualualei. And we were able to come up with rigorous STEM content using that mo'olelo And the teachers were able to take that and use that in the classrooms. I mean, they were able to take diagrams of Lualuale, label where different parts of the mo'olelo took place, and then we're able to use the STEM, the activity, the hands-on activity, to reinforce the STEM content. And by doing that, it was something different than just looking at a textbook. It was something more than just reading something out of a book or watching a video. Like, the kids were able to see how the STEM, how the lesson pertained directly to their lives. And again, was really important factor with which that we used to develop this course. So third objective was STEM. And when we created this course, we wanted to get a push across the fact that STEM is everywhere. It's in everything. Science, technology, engineering, and math drives life. I mean, I challenge you to find some aspect of life that doesn't have something to do with science, technology, engineering, or math, whether it be cooking or surfing or fishing or whatever it is. STEM is in everything, and it is everywhere. And the whole idea is to show how you can take something as simple as, I mean, like, let's say you go down to the beach and you're taking your kids down to go to show them how to body surf. There's STEM in that. You're looking at currents, you're looking at buoyancy, you're looking at force, because how far do you have to kick, how fast do you have to kick, how much force do you need to kick with. So there's STEM everywhere. And if we could figure out, if we could show you ways to use place-based mo'olelo to extract the STEM, it makes the learning that much more engaging. Because I mean, like, it's again, it's more fun. Like, it's better than just reading it out of a textbook. So a big part of doing this PDE3 course, and a big part of creating the Nānā Ike Kumu series, was cohort collaboration. I'm of the mind that two heads are better than one. And if we can share knowledge, it just makes each of us better, makes all of us better. I mean, the whole point is for the kids, right? I mean, that's why we do what we do. You know, I heard it once said that, like any profession, you have to change as technology grows. As you find better ways to do things, you change, you adapt, and you get better. I mean, doctors don't use leeches anymore to cure blood poisoning. Like, there are much better ways now to do that. So education, teaching is no different. And if we can find better ways to educate, then why not share that knowledge and help each other become better at what we do? So the whole idea is, when you're in this course, you're going to be working together as colleagues. You're going to look at each other's work. You're going to see what works, share mana'o, give ideas. And then as you implement, share how it went. You know, hey, this is what worked for me, this is what didn't. That way, we're able to make ourselves better and become better professionals, better kumu. And it will make us better at what we do. And finally, the last objective, what Capella and I want to do is not just give you information. Jesus once said that if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime. And what we want to do is teach you how to fish. Like, I could show you really cool STEM activities to use. Capella can show you really cool lelo. I could show, but it would be better to show you how to think outside the box and do it for yourselves. You know, it's one thing for us to just give you the information, say, hey, just do this. But once you get out of the course, it's like, okay, now I have this information. Now what do I do with it? I can implement it, but then I'm just going to be regurgitating the same thing year after year after year. Whereas if you know where to find the mo'olelo, if you know how to look for these STEM content, these STEM concepts, you're able to figure it out and maybe even add and share with other kumu across the coast. So this is an opportunity for us to grow and help grow our practice, make us better educators. Unless, Capella, do you have anything else to add to that?
I do. I have. As Mark was explaining the objectives of this PDE3 course, I realized that we never got to share with you folks the reason why this course is titled Nānā Ike Kumu. And so I'm gonna give a real try and make it brief. But it's super important because the methodology that Mark and I have put together for this course is really grounded in that Olelo no Eau Nānā Ike Kumu. And for those of you who are not familiar, what that translates to, that Olelo no Eau translates to, look to the source. Look to the source. Where does our knowledge come from? And so when Mark and I started to develop this course 2 years ago, that was the foundation that we chose to build this our professional development methodology on. And basically we focus on, like Mark said, helping teachers to understand all of the different resources and sources of knowledge that are available to you, especially as teachers in the Waianae Moku. And so as Mark explained about the objectives and some of the things that we do in the course, I just wanted to highlight the types of kumu that we focus on in this class. And so the first kumu that we look at is kumu kupuna, and that is ancestral knowledge that comes from either traditional ancestral times or from modern kupuna. When we did our community course, we had kupuna like Auntie Walter B. Aldegar and others who shared their knowledge and their life experiences as elders from the Waianae coast. And so we tap into kupuna, ancestral knowledge or living ancestors, which is a term that I've heard used. But we tap into kupuna who have that type of level of wisdom and knowledge and experience and connection to the moku of Waianae. That's one source of knowledge that we tap into. The other source of knowledge is the mo'olelo piece. And so the mo'olelo, like Mark shared, are grounded in place-based histories, in place-based knowledge systems and knowledge practices that are focused on the Waianae Moku. There is a lot of Hawaiian culture-based education and resources that are available to the entire Pai'aina. The library of resources that we have for Waianae place-based mo'olelo is not as vast as the library of information and knowledge that is provided for someplace like here in Hilo. And so Waianae mo'olelo is not that easy to come by. And finding resources and literature that helps us to pull it into our classrooms and use it has been challenging. I know. I was teaching in a classroom for how many years, and it's taken so many years for me to compile some of the collections of mo'olelo that I use and that I share with others who teach in Waianae. So the place-based mo'olelo is the second kumu or second source of knowledge that we look to. The third source of knowledge is kumu hana, or the STEM portion, which Mark shares about. Mark has an amazing talent where he can just look at something and find five STEM connections, just looking at one thing. And so I'll share with Mark about a kupuna, or share with him an olelo no eau and a mo'olelo that I really want all teachers to teach. And then Mark will be like, oh my gosh, the STEM is this and this and this and this. And he spends 2 hours talking about the STEM, and then I got to bring him back to Mark. I just wanted some ideas and never like the whole 2-hour workshop. But Mark is really good at helping to derive that STEM content. And so that's our third Ike, or third kumu, or third source of knowledge that we tap into. And then, like Mark shared about one of the last objectives, is you are kumu. You are vessels of knowledge, vessels of experience, vessels of practice and pedagogy. You guys live it, eat it, and breathe it every single day. And so you become sources of knowledge to each other. And I know a lot of us are super humble and we're like, oh no, I have nothing to share. I have nothing to teach. I'm not a mentor. I'm not. Every single one of you have so much experience and so much knowledge and so much practices and approaches and different perspectives that you folks will bring into this collective. And so we lean on each other and we tap into each other's, sometimes some of us is tired and we gotta somebody else gotta kind of juice us up and pump us up, yeah? Sometimes that's the kind of collaboration we need. Sometimes we need somebody who can look at a topic from a different perspective and give you fresh eyes. Sometimes we need someone who has a little bit more experience in certain parts of the practice or certain parts of the profession. And so each of you are sources of knowledge for the students you serve, for the community you serve in, and for each other. And so that's kind of the big idea of what this Nānā Ike Kumu methodology is focused on. And hopefully by the end of this course, you all understand those different sources of knowledge, you recognize what they are, and then you're able to actually take those things and incorporate them in curriculum development. This course is just one section of a larger Nānā Ike Kumu offering that Kalama will be giving. And so this course, we're only designing the curriculum. You guys not going to implement them in class. You're not going to take pictures, videos, submit all those things. Those are for further courses. The only thing we're focusing on is teaching you folks some content and teaching you guys a Hawaiian focused approach to curriculum design. And so that's the kind of big, but kind of detailed gist of the Nānā Ike Kumu methodology and some of the objectives that we have lined up for you folks in this class. If you Google Classroom announcements is going to be made via Google Classroom. Assignments are going to be sent out via Google Classroom, and any of the resources and the materials that Mark and I are going to be using or sharing with you folks is going to be on the Google Classroom. So it's super critical that you folks are able to join the Google Classroom today so that you're equipped and prepared to start submitting the beginning portions of your portfolio. Yes. Okay. The Learning Results Portfolio. This, and the acronym for this is the LRP. So when you guys go onto Google Classroom or we're chatting or discussing stuff, you might hear LRP. We're talking about the Learning Results Portfolio. Okay. And so I want to talk a little bit about what the purpose is of the portfolio, the grading process, some of the instructions so that you folks understand how to navigate it, and then some of the due dates for the components of the portfolio. But on the screen, you should be able to see the Learning Results Portfolio. When you're in, and typically you have the stream is like your news feed on Facebook or Instagram, and this is where you'll find announcements. So this is where if something new gets posted, you'll get an announcement. I included the weekly Zoom link on here. You guys need to find it to jump on easily. So you got your stream, and basically the only two buttons you got to worry about is stream and classwork. The people and grades, that's on my side. You guys not going to see that stuff. So in the classwork, you're going to find a couple of different sections. This Learning Results Portfolio is probably going to be the one that you guys are going to be accessing the most, because this is where you're going to find, this is where you're going to access and open up your portfolio to work on a continuous basis. Okay. So I'm just going to go over this 4 main mana'o about the Learning Results Portfolio. If you have questions, please unmute yourself and ask for clarification. No be shame, because guarantee if you get the question, get somebody else who get the question and they shame too. So be shame together and ask the question. No be shame. Okay? You shame, you starve. Same thing with learning. You shame, you starve. Okay, so the purpose of the Learning Results Portfolio, this is probably the most important thing with any PDE3 course as it stands right now, the way that PDE3 courses work now. And if you're not familiar, and especially right now, recently the HSTA was able to renegotiate some of you folks' contracts and help you folks to get some added reclassification and added opportunities to increase your folks' pay. And so taking PDE3 coursework will help to increase your folks' climb up the step ladder and move you folks through the classes to work towards income reclassification. Okay. And so being in a PDE3 course, I know we are committed to developing our practice as educators, but the other benefit to being in the course is also that income reclassification, which is super important. Our Kalama team really wants to help all of you guys be at class 8. Goals, we got goals here. One day. I know we're not gonna happen this year. Okay. But in order to get through a PDE3 class, the learning results portfolio is the most important part of the class. Okay. This is how we determine your learning and your growth as a teacher. More importantly, it gets reviewed by a PDE3 reviewer who doesn't sit in our class, who doesn't know everything about what we're learning. And when they look at your portfolio, they want to see your learning and they want to see your growth. And so this portfolio is how you folks are going to show the evidence of your learning. You guys are going to reflect on that learning and show how this course has helped you folks to develop in your practice. The portfolio is super, super important. Don't look at it as an assignment. Look at it as an opportunity to learn and to grow and to develop. The grading process. So if you're not familiar with PDE3, the way that the grading goes is that the reviewer will look at the roster and just ask for 10% of the portfolios from that roster. So if we get 20 of us, Mark, what is 10%? Two people out of the 20? Am I doing this math right? Anybody?
Yes.
Okay,
people.
mahalo. Okay, 2 people out of the 20. Okay, so 20 of you guys gonna do an awesome portfolio, and only 2 people's portfolio is gonna be pooled. Okay, they're gonna look at that 2 portfolios and they're gonna judge all of us based on that 2 people. So make sure that you 2 people are awesome so that the rest of us get our credit. Because if you're going to be a slacker and they pull your portfolio, none of us get credit. Is that clear? It is so important for you folks to be diligent, to be accountable, to make sure you guys do awesome work. Because the other 18, or whatever our ratio is, Mark, you can figure out our ratio later on. The other people might not get credit if you are the weakest link and your portfolio gets pulled. Do not be the weakest link. Okay. We have no room for weak links. We only have room for excellence. Papa. Okay. I want to be real clear about that, because when I found out about that, as the instructor, I've been very freaked out about the portfolio process. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta make sure that they are like at the top, and they gotta be at the top. Everybody has to be at the top. We cannot let anybody straggle behind. So again, I cannot tell the reviewer like, oh, you think so you can pull these 2 people because their portfolio is awesome. I don't have that. We don't have that power. They're gonna look at the roster, they're gonna say, let me see Yara and Yara's portfolio, and we all get graded. Instructors and students all get graded according to that 10%. Okay, so make sure you guys are mako kau. If you guys ever need help, please reach out for help. Reach out to each other, reach out to us. If we can help you, we'll go directly to PDE3 and tell them, okay, what's going on? How can we make this better? They've been really supportive in helping us to develop the course and make sure that we're on a path to success. Okay, instructions. So everyone has been assigned an LRP template. Each of you guys in your classwork tab, you should be able to open up your LRP template that has already been posted to the classroom. And so when you go into your LRP template, it's broken down into sections, and the sections have due dates. On Google Classroom, the only due date you're gonna see for the LRP is October 3rd. But that doesn't mean that you wait until October 3rd to put everything into your portfolio. As you look on the template, you're going to look at the due dates and you're going to complete sections of the portfolio as we go through the next 10 weeks. Okay. And so there's going to be sections like this is just your information you're filling out. There's an instructional page that explains about the important parts of the how you compile the learning portfolio, why you need a caption, why you need an artifact or evidence, and why you need reflection, and how to do those things well. Read the instructions. Okay, read the instructions. The third page is a table of contents. And the good thing about this table of contents, mahalo Google Docs, you're so fabulous, is that it's able to let us click on a section and zoom to that section. So if on week, whatever, August 29th, we want to go and submit the stuff for unit plan 1, I can just click on that link, and it'll take me straight to that section of the portfolio. Okay, so that, or you can open up the outline on the side and look for the section that you need. But the table of contents page on page 3 is super helpful in helping to jump through the portfolio, navigate through the portfolio, and go directly to the sections that you need to complete as the dates come through. Okay. As we go through the course, like I said, as we're teaching, we're going to be helping you guys to make sure you guys compiling the portfolio items and putting things in and adding them in where they belong. On each section, so this is the first thing you're going to submit in your LRP, and this is going to be due today. Okay, we're going to do a pre and a post self-assessment. Yeah, so there's going to be a little bit instruction, and then you're going to include a caption about a description of what the item is that's coming up next. This caption is going to be read by that reviewer, the person who never sat in the class, who never know what the Kumu told you to do, the one who never sit with you to design your curriculum. So your caption has to be a description that helps build a context, and they can understand what they're going to be looking at and why it's even included in the portfolio. Okay, we'll work on this caption development as we go through, and then maybe sometimes I can ask one random to come read your caption and be like, I don't understand, I don't see it. Okay, so the green sections are sections that you guys have to fill out. Everything needs to have a caption. Today, you guys going to read through this self-evaluation statements, rate yourself 1 through 5, 5 strongly agree, 1 strongly disagree. You're not going to do the post because that's not due until the end of the class. Okay. Go through, read the statements. Another thing you guys going to work on today is this curriculum design reflection. Okay. When you hear the word reflection, remember, we don't want a description. We want some critical analysis. We want you to look at the question and dig deep and think about how this question, how your practice, how your experience, how your knowledge, how your skill set, all those things, how are those things being developed? Where are they now? If we're doing a pre-assessment, we want to know where you guys are at now. And then as we go through, we want to know how your learning is developing your practice. And then at the end, we want to know where you are at post learning. Yeah, you guys know, you guys teachers, you guys know what these kind of stuff mean. I just put here that you should plan to answer these reflection questions in 2 to 3 paragraphs. This reflection cannot happen in 1 sentence. The reviewers and us, and for your sake, we want in-depth reflection so that you guys really think about the value of the learning and the development that is going to happen. And be honest. If the answer is, oh, this course never helped me learn anything, be honest. We want you guys to be honest, okay? As an educator, I know, like, somebody telling me, oh, it's so wonderful, I learned so much, and then they're walking behind my back and saying, oh, that course was terrible, I would never recommend it to anybody. Be honest with us. If you're not learning, if we're missing something in our instruction, we're gonna see that in the reflection section, yeah? And so your reflection helps you and it helps us. Okay. So there is the pre and post assessment section. Another big part of the learning results portfolio is Moinaha unit plans. I'm going to go into this in a little bit later, but all I want you guys to know now is that we're doing 3 unit plans using Moinaha. You folks are going to design it in class, sections of it in class, and then after class, you guys are going to reflect on the different questions that are connected to that unit plan development. Going to be the same question, but for each unit plan, going to have different responses because you tapping into different resources, you learning different approaches, you learning different techniques. And so your reflections shouldn't be looking like copy paste. It should be specific to what you learned during that unit plan section, okay? The last section that is a part of the learning results portfolio is curriculum design analysis. And so what we're gonna do is you guys gonna brainstorm some lesson plans, put together some drafts of some unit plans, and then you guys are gonna share it in small groups. And in those small groups, you guys are gonna do what is called a tuning protocol. Some of you might have heard of this, some of you might not. But it's gonna be a really quick opportunity for one presenter to share their ideas and then to allow the participants to think about it, to offer some suggestions for improvement, to talk about some of the things they like, to offer time for reflection. This is an opportunity for you folks to use each other as Kumu. Remember when I spoke about you are a source of knowledge for your peers? This is where you use your experience, use your knowledge, use your skills, your perspective, whatever tools you bring to the table, use those to help your peers to improve their lesson planning, improve their curriculum design. The other important thing about the tuning protocol is that those of you who are sharing your lesson, you are learning how to take advice and criticism in order to improve your practice. Yeah. So, oh, I don't know why she said she not like this for. Okay, wait, what is it about my lesson that she didn't understand? What do I need to do to work it, to improve it so that it's more clear, so that it makes sense, so that it would work for everybody? Okay. So the tuning protocol, we're going to be honest, we're going to be critical, but we're going to be adding value to everybody's curriculum design. And so this curriculum design process, this tuning protocol is going to be a part of your guys' learning results. So after you guys do a little tuning protocol session, you're going to share what you learned. This person shared this with me, and I never looked at my lesson like that, but it was so important because it helped me to realize this, and this. Okay? So you're going to share what, a caption about what you're including, and then you're going to, again, specific feedback to the unit plan that you presented on. And that's right now it says 13 pages, but don't be fooled. Oh no, 15 pages. Once you start filling this up, this pages is gonna go like that. And this learning results portfolio becomes like possibly a 50-page document of your learning. Gosh, scary when we think we gotta make 50 pages of anything. I hope that we designed it in a way that makes it easy for you folks to just go through, submit your folks mana'o. Another really important part of the learning results portfolio is there is going to be some assignments that you guys are going to have to link to the portfolio. We'll talk about that next week. But I just want you guys to know that some of these things, like we don't want you, and I don't want you to take a screenshot of your moinaha and drop the picture into the Google Doc, because then we gotta like zoom in like that for look at the screenshot, and sometimes it's blurry, sometimes the screenshot doesn't work. What we want is we want to be able to get straight access to your PDF or your doc, your tuning protocol log, so that we can just see what you have there, and then we can see how it connects to your reflection group. Okay, she asked if we are selected for review and changes need to be made, are we able to edit and resubmit the portfolio? Yes, this is why the October 3rd deadline is so important, because once that October 3rd deadline hits, the reviewer pulls, and then they have this I think it's a 30-day window. They're going to review. If need resubmission, need some lomi, they're going to send it back. We're going to lomi that bugger and add extra inamona, and we're going to give them back to them extra ono. Yeah. But yes, it's not a guillotine, chop it, we're all dead if you never do the one part. Okay. We have opportunity. If things need to be fixed, they'll send it back, fix it up, and then resubmit it. Again, when you guys go on to your Google Classroom. This is the teacher screen. So your screen might look a little bit different, but in the classwork section, you're gonna see your learning results portfolio that you can access. You click on the link, it opens up yours one, it'll have your title. When I come in, I can see everybody's work. Mark and I can go through what you guys have done. When you guys complete something, submit it. And then Mark and I know, oh, they did some kind of update. We can jump on it, we can check it. And then we'll kick it back to you folks. We're gonna be kicking the ball back and forth on a regular basis until the whole portfolio is 50 pages long and beautiful. Not need to be 50 pages, but I've seen portfolios that are that long. So you guys gonna be opening up this LRP at least every other day. I just know it, I know it. Unless you Leo and you will get everything done right after class. Okay. Moinaha. When you guys do the pre-assessment later on, you guys gonna share where you guys are at, how familiar you might be with the Moinaha unit planning tool. I'm not gonna spend plenty of time today talking about it, but I just want you folks to understand that what are the main components of a Moinaha unit plan. And it might be similar to a unit planning tool that you may have learned about in your licensing program or in your education program. This Moinaha unit planning tool was designed and kind of based off of the format model, but it was restructured from a Hawaiian worldview and designed for teaching from a Hawaiian cultural lens. And it was designed by Kumu Keiki Kawai. She was one of my professors at UH Hilo. And she was one of the first Kayapuni families in Hawaii. So her oldest daughter was like in the first Punana Leo, first kindergarten immersion program in all of Hawaii. She was a parent. There was a need for teachers. And so then she became the first Kumu Kayapuni for the island of Maui. And then through the course of her career, she just slowly climbed up that educational ladder. And now she is a doctor, a PhD in Indigenous education. And she runs the UH Hilo Kahakaulo o Ke'eli Kolani program. But the reason I'm sharing this, Kumu Keiki has been teaching Hawaiian culture-based education for a very, very long time. And she has a lot of experience and she has a lot of knowledge in both the educator realm and the cultural context. And so this unit planning tool was designed by Kumu Keiki, and it was designed with, again, like I said, a Hawaiian worldview in mind. And so every Moinaha unit plan that you folks submit is going to have 4 main sections. The first section is going to be the Kupu Kukui, which is focused on student-focused outcomes. And in that, some of the Kupu Kukui, Mark and I have put in information for you folks. Some of the academic standards that we're going to be focusing on in the unit plan, some of the cultural outcomes that we'll be focusing on. And then there's a section of the Kupu Kukui that you guys are going to fill out. And that's going to be some of the goals that you have for your students in that unit plan. What is some of the main objectives? What is the final presentation? What are some of the cultural outcomes or the language outcomes or the behavior outcomes that you want to see your students develop when they're learning that unit in that unit plan? We're going to learn more about it next week when we dive in. The second section is the Kumu Kukui. The Kumu Kukui is our culturally grounded intention and an overview for the unit plan. Lucky for you guys, Mark and I pre-designed the Kumu Kukui. So you guys don't have to complete anything. You're just going to look at the Kumu Kukui that we give you for unit plan 1, and then that's going to be your foundation, and then you're going to build with your lesson activities on top of that Kumu Kukui. The third section, probably the section that we're going to be spending the most time on, is the Lau Kukui. And this is basically your lesson outline section, okay? But the idea of the Lau Kukui is that your lesson is now going to be set up from a traditional Hawaiian format of teaching and learning. And so next week, we'll get into that a little bit. The last component of the Moinaha is the Lama Kukui, or culturally responsive assessments. So in this class, we're not going to be super heavy on assessments, but we do want to see that you folks have taken into account how you plan on assessing your students' learning throughout the unit plan and at the end of the unit plan. Okay. So each of you are going to do 3 unit plans, and each unit plan is going to include these 4 components. When you go onto the Google Classroom and the Classworks tab, Classwork, what did I say? Classworks. Where am I? Okay. Here we go. There is going to be like an example of a Moinaha. This is just a sample one just to look at, but this is not the one that you're going to use to submit. Yeah. You guys are going to be assigned a Moinaha that has the filled out sections that Mark and I pre-designed, and then the sections that are empty for you folks to complete. Okay. So these things are going to get sent out and assigned as we go through the course. Okay. That's the big idea of the things that we're going to be doing and learning throughout this course. I promise you guys, there's going to be a little bit of work, but Mark and I are going to work really hard to try and get you guys to compile as much as we can while we're in class. We know that you guys have families, you guys have responsibilities outside of, this is already an added responsibility on top of your full load of work. And so as much as possible, we want to try and get things done during class time so that you guys don't have that much homework in between classes. But there will be some times where you got to do work. Do the work. Don't procrastinate. Don't be sending me 10 portfolios on 10-2-23 and expect Capella to give everybody awesome feedback so we can all pass the class. Please do not do that to me. Please. We don't work 24-hour shifts. Me and Mark don't work 24-hour shifts. Okay. Mark,
Hey, Capella, I have a STEM joke for you. 16 sodium atoms walk into a room followed by Batman.
What? Mark, how dare you?
Hey,
I don't
somebody
even
caught it.
understand that.
I see
What?
somebody laughing. Somebody caught it. 16 sodium atoms walk into a room.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
even know what sodium atoms is.
Sodium, Na. Like salt, NaCl, sodium is Na. So 16 sodium atoms walk into a room followed by Batman.
What?
No.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Whoever caught that, extra credit to you.
Use it with my blessing.
Wowzers. Hope you guys ready for Mark's jokes. Mark always
Hey,
got
you know
jokes.
what? I got
Everybody
great
be
jokes.
ready.
Thank you.
That's why Kahula loves him so much. He makes so much jokes. Okay. Right on. Maikai, I'm glad you guys all enrolled in the right class. I can see, according to you guys, what you guys hope to learn. We are definitely aligned and we're in the right class. Maikai Loa. You guys never signed up for the comedy show, but it's coming anyways. It's a part of the package. Okay.
I'm sorry. Learning should be fun.
You're right. There's no be busting STEM jokes on me. I don't know those kind of things. Okay, so we're at the end of today, but the rest of our classes are gonna be 3:30 to 5:30. Okay, so just so that everybody is clear and is prepared to sit in for the 2 hours every week. At the end of class, we'll always have what you guys Ha'avina will be for the week, what your assignment will be for the week, and then some announcements if we have any. So today, go on to your LRP and fill out that first pre-assessment section of the LRP. So that's going to include the participant info. It's going to include the pre and post self-assessment. And it's also going to include, I mean, you don't have to do the curriculum design reflection today, but if you want, that's also going to be due by next week. Those first two, the participant info and the pre-assessment, do it like right now. Do it now. because we want to capture you guys before you guys start digging into all kind of things on the Google Classroom and looking into all kind of stuff, okay? So make sure you guys do those first 2 sections of the LRP today. And then the last, this next section, the curriculum design reflection, is gonna be due by next week, Tuesday at noon. Mark and I want time to be able to go onto the Google Classroom. For those of you who like to submit at the last minute, I cannot say nothing because I do submit things at the last minute too. I make it on time, but I'm submitting at 11:58 sometimes, okay? Those of you who might not have time and might submit right before noon, we want it by noon so that he and I have time to look it over. If there's things that gotta be addressed, then we can address it with you guys while we're in class. A part of our PD is providing STEM kits. And so we prepare STEM kits and the items that you folks need in order to learn the STEM activity that Mark designs. And then you guys have a chance to practice it, put it together yourselves. That way, if you're ever going to put it in, use it in a classroom, you already know all the problem areas, what to prepare for, right? I learned real quick in my first year, no, try to do the science experiment without experimenting it yourself. Because you don't like be failing in front of your students. God, you don't know how many times I did that in my first year teaching. Oh, I just couldn't, I get all my supplies, they're ready for going. And I start teaching it and it's like, oh my God, I didn't plan for those.
Whenever
hiccups.
I design a STEM activity, I always got to try it out first. Cause like, I want to make sure it works. This first one you guys are going to enjoy is good fun.
Don't tell them what it is.
I'm not going to say no spoilers,
Okay.
but you guys are going to enjoy this first STEM activity. Oh,
so the point is,
class too.
We put together STEM kits for everybody. Mark and Fran are gonna deliver it to you folks, wherever you folks are at. Mark will be emailing you guys probably in the next week with check-ins and figuring out you guys wanna take it to the school or whatever it is. The idea is that they can hopefully deliver it to you on campus wherever you folks are at. If that's not gonna work out, make sure you guys let Mark know. And then the last announcement is, some of you are already enrolled in our Kalama Kumu Kayaulu branch. It's not a requirement for this course, but if you register and enroll in our program, we can help you guys with other resources and services that you folks might need as teachers. So beyond just taking this class and learning from us, we also have ways to support you guys in other capacities. So if you're interested in being an actual member of the Kumu Kayaulu branch, if you did not have a meeting with me, you're not in the Kumu Kayaulu branch. If you had a meeting with me, congratulations, you in, okay? So if you haven't had a meeting with me yet, but maybe you're thinking, oh, I thought I was in, I did the PDE3. You're not actually a full-blown Kalama participant for all the extra goodies that we have. If you're interested in learning more about that and being in the full program and getting the other resources and services, email me and I can send you some instructions on how to participate. Oh my goodness, my phone is so loud. That is our last announcement. Okay, Fran, you have an announcement?
I do. I just wanted to mention, if there's anyone on Zoom tonight who is thinking about getting your national board certification, we do have a cohort that's starting up. We met in the summer. It was a really busy time. People were traveling, but I just wanted to let you know that we are starting up. We're going to meet next week, Thursday from 3:30 to 5:30 here in our Maili office. It's the CLCM building. So if you're interested, email me or let Capella know. So if you are a Kalama participant, we provide funding for the national board certification. So I just wanted to send that plug out. I know that there are some on the Zoom who's completed the certification. And it's just awesome. I know that you guys can all do it, but anyhow, just wanted to do that plug. Mahalo. It was great to be here. You guys are going to have a fun time. So enjoy, and I will see you guys on our next call.
Mahalo nui, Fran. Okay, I looked at the Google Classroom. Everybody who is on this Zoom is on the Google Classroom. Good job. Make sure that it's an email that you actually check, because you go get announcements in that email. And if you don't check that email, it'll be a little bit hard to stay updated. Again, if you guys have questions, you guys can email us, markp@inpeace or capellae@inpeace. Email us, reach out. We're here to support you folks. And don't forget to do you guys' homework. Any questions? No questions? Ole? We good to go? Okay. Mahalo nui ya'uko. We see you folks next week, Tuesday.
Bye, everyone.
Aloha.